What is up, y'all? It's your girl, brand new, and honey, I am back in the building. Listen. This time, honey, we are back for a birthday reading of Sean P. Diddy, Brother Love. Ain't no love involved, child. Okay, we are back to do a birthday reading on him, child. Okay, on that man. Okay, from the first floor, because y'all have heard about all the bullshiggity, Diddy has been caught up in, honey, with Cassie and, not paying his artists. And, child, I'm still mad at what he did to the cast of making the band, made them walk all the way, okay, a long walk. All the way to the Cheesecake Factory to get him a piece of cheesecake. Okay, make it make sense. Okay, and y'all remember how they was just, they didn't want to do that bullshiggity, okay? They didn't want to do that bullshiggity. Who was y'all favorite in making the band? I remember it was Dylon Babs. I think she was like my favorite. Out of the guys, I like Freddie. Freddie, I think he was from Miami. We got Ness. Ness follows me on Instagram. Shout out to Ness. Okay, he was liking Miss Robinson's pictures, honey. And can you blame him? Okay, that's a smart man. A good man, Savannah. I don't know that man, but I'm hoping he a good guy, you guys. Who else? Chopper. Where the heck was he from? And did he get arrested? I forgot, child, what happened with him. Y'all remember Sarah and her husband, Tony? I think they done broke up. Child, that man was crazy. Ooh, child, she would call her husband, honey, and he would come to the house and get into it with the band, and it was just crazy, child. Y'all remember when Ness and Freddie would fight? I gotta go back and watch that show. It was so entertaining, honey. But Diddy was in charge of all of that. I used to watch I Want to Work for Diddy. I used to like that show as well. I was a fan of Diddy at one point. I will say that. And, I do enjoy some of his music. I like that Hello, Good Morning. I like the Can't Nobody Hold Me Down. It's all about the Benjamins. I'm a big fan of Bad Boy. I used to love Lil' Kim, Faith Evans, out of Biggie and Pac, y'all know I'm a Pac girl, but I like some of Biggie's songs too, I'm going to say this, and this is what I think of when I really think of Diddy. Y'all remember back in the day in the 90s when Pac was trying to warn us about Diddy's malicious character? It was something about, I think him being assaulted down to the Quad Studios, and he had mentioned that Diddy just looked at him. And remember, they had these two opposite stories of what happened in Quad Studios. I think Biggie and Diddy had one story. Pac had another story. And I'm a Tupac girl. I've always loved Tupac, not just his music, but just him. I just felt like he was the realest MC that we would ever get in this life, honey. That man can act. He, inspired me to go to a performing arts school. Him and Jada, y'all know I'm a Jada Pinkett Smith girl. I love that girl. But yeah, I think about what Pac was saying about Diddy. Now, at that time, Diddy seemed non-problematic from what I knew of him. I was a kid in the 90s. But he didn't have all the shiggity that he has going on now. He has former bodyguards out here dragging him, saying how bad of a person he was when, they used to work for him. It's like two of them, like, they're speaking out profusely about working for and with Diddy, honey, and how he would treat the people. Y'all remember what he did to Mace, and him and Mace was cool, real cool. up in the camera, honey, waving they rollies. Now, that relationship is dead because, Diddy, I guess, took off with his publishing and he got it to where the kids is getting these people's publishing. Now, recently, honey, now that he done made all the money he could make off these artists he used to have, he has recently given them back their publishing right. It's like, child, it's a little too late, don't you think? Now, the stuff with Cassie came out. It came out right before he was, on the Breakfast Club talking about giving back to his artists, this, that, and the third, right? Now, Mace had been asking him for years for his, for his publishing and stuff, but, Diddy couldn't hear what that man had to say, honey, okay? But yeah, Pac, he was the first one to warn us about Diddy and his shady character and how, I guess, when he had got shot, they was just staring at him and, they didn't really help him. And Diddy had like the opposite story. We tried to roll him a blunt and we tried to, call 911 and all this other stuff, child. So we're not going to get off into that, but I did remember that stuck with me as a kid. Like, dang, like this man is speaking out and Pac got, he got assaulted pretty badly. Okay. So Diddy, his birthday is November 4th, 1969. It's the day of the provocateur. So he's provocative, okay? So I am looking up the definition of provocateur, okay? And it says someone who intentionally causes arguments or discussions or intentionally makes other people feel angry, offended, or uncomfortable. Okay, so we saw that behavior on Making the Band. I told you all about a childhood friend of mine, Jonathan Victorian. Shout out to Jonathan. He was actually auditioning for Day 26, and he's the one that Diddy had get in a boxing ring. And I remember Jonathan's grandmother was like, "You are a singer." Like, I went to the performing arts with Jonathan, so it's like, what is he doing in a boxing ring? Okay, and Jonathan is a good singer. I know he happy he ain't get caught up with him, honey. Jonathan was a good guy, really nice, clean cut, good, type of person, real cool, down to earth. So I was sad, to see that on the TV. I was proud, right, that I knew Jonathan, but I was like, oh, I hope he don't, end up working with Diddy, because Diddy just has a malicious way of being with people. Like, it's like he literally is pretty much an agent of chaos and confusion, honey. And I told y'all, God is not the author of confusion. Okay, so his strengths are, he is magnetic. And it basically means like everything that he touches, it touches to gold. He can make anything that glitters into gold. He has the Midas touch. Y'all remember how he helped out Jodeci and gave them they swag and helped out Mary J. Blige, Faith Evans. Like, Diddy is, very talented at what he does. He had the group Total. He had Biggie, So he's very talented. He has a knack for working with people. I don't know about treating people the best way, but he's very talented with like music and what would sound good, what would not sound good. And y'all remember that song he did with Keisha Cole? That was a good song too. I like that. So yeah, very talented. It says he is involved. Okay. So involved basically means taking part in a situation or having a strong connection with it. And yes, he is very involved because, honey, they've been talking about him when it comes to Biggie's, situation. We'll just say it like that. Pac situation. And, he is very involved. Okay. And not in a good way. Not in, with some of these cases, honey, that have came out. Okay. And this thing with Cassie and, so he is involved a little bit too much. Okay, so his last strength is he is charming. That means he's delightful. He is pleasing, pleasant, agreeable. Okay, his weaknesses is, it says meddling. Okay, so y'all already know. Y'all already know what that means. Listen, that means he's intrusive or unwarranted. Okay? He involves himself. There's that word. Okay, once again, he involves himself in a matter without right or invitation, keeping them people publishing for all them years. Okay, meddling all up in their business. Remember the whole situation with J-Lo and then Shine had to take the rap? Like, Diddy has been involved in several situations, honey, okay? Child, woo, child. He did say, honey, I thought I told you that we won't stop. Shit, he meant that, literally and figuratively. Okay, so his last weakness is he's unrealistic. And it basically means he has the wrong idea of what is likely to happen or what you can really do. He likes to really do things that are really impossible. Like he likes to ask too much of people. We heard about all of that with the Cassie situation. And I look at some of these men and, they make a substantial amount of money. It doesn't matter what field a man can get in. And it just brings the dog out of some of y'all. And Diddy would be no exception, to that. It just, I don't know. It's the money and the power. It just brings out this demonic, like chaotic energy in some of these men. And this can happen with women too that are not used to power. They let it go to their heads. They treat people any kind of way. He was very like curt. On a lot of his shows, we saw how he would talk to certain artists. We saw how aggressive he would act. He was very braggadocious, very rash. No nonsense, right? But you could be no nonsense and not treat people, like dirt, so. Yeah, that's what it say, honey. He's unrealistic. He like to do a whole bunch of shiggity that, I don't know. He like to do stuff that can really probably cause people hurt and pain. He's not thinking about that in the moment of when he's doing what he's doing, but, he's not thinking about the trauma he could cause somebody through his personality. Okay, we'll just put it like that. Okay, so the advice the book gives him: adopt a more neutral stance towards life, work quietly and keep your emotions under control. Don't give more than you can sustain over time. Okay, so there's the unrealistic part right there. He takes on more than he can sustain. And then you got all these people coming out on the internet talking about your character. That ain't gonna be good for your business. Okay, then the money he paid to Cassie, real quick. And people was like, well, obviously, honey, you did it because you paid that money awfully quick, So it also says, also be aware of the demands you make on others. What did I tell y'all? This is all a part of him being unrealistic, being overly involved in stuff, meddling, It says, also keep your sense of humor active. So learn to laugh, nigga. Okay? Learn to laugh, but not at other people's expense. And I do feel like a lot of men and maybe some women too, they begin like being very hedonistic. Um, in their approach towards life and people, and they thrive off of like instant gratification, and yeah, he got to work on that. So he is a Scorpio. It says faith is sometimes more powerful than actions. What I noticed with Scorpio people is they have an amazing work ethic. But sometimes it could be at the detriment of other people and of themselves. It doesn't help their personality all the time. Okay? It doesn't really, like with the Scorpios that I have observed. I won't get off into, who exactly is a Scorpio, but I noticed that, yeah, you may be working hard, but everything you do, it comes at a price. Are you willing to pay it? Are you willing to hurt people and hurt yourself and ruin your reputation? Because a lot of Scorpios, if you notice that, think of the Scorpios that you know in the entertainment business. They have like ruined their reputations and they could be very polarizing. You will find with certain Scorpio people that may have a extreme dark side, they may one group of people may really like them and other people really can't stand them, because they can see that like you're not real, you're performing. This is a performance. This is so you can keep making money. This isn't you growing and becoming a better person. And a lot of people, they think that just making the money is improving their life, and money is good and you should make the most you can make as it pertains to money. But like I said, there's always a price. Be willing to pay the price, and all money ain't good money. So you should be turning some things down. Don't overwork yourself, and don't do certain things at the expense of other people. Okay, so let's start the reading. Those born on November 4th have a knack for arousing controversy. They are highly stimulating in both word and deed, and in their family and social circle tend to be dominant and valued members. Though many November 4th people assume a conservative, perhaps almost colorist appearance, their charm and wealth of personality becomes apparent in conversation on first meeting. They usually make a lively yet sincere impression and may not show right away just how provocative, there's that word, they can be. So what that kind of lets me know is when he at first got started, he didn't really show his hand. He's a water sign. Water sign people don't normally show their hand right away. They may show you enough to get through the damn door, but they're not going to be maybe like that fire sign person where you already seen it from the door, from the gate. It's going to take a while. Look at Wendy Williams. Look at like how she was behaving. Oh, I'm happily married. Oh, everything is good with Kevin. Oh, no, he's not cheating on me. I'm still with my man. Then it turns out the man already, didn't had another family on this woman. And it took some years for you to find that out. Look at Diddy. Look at his mannerisms. Go back to old interviews of him being around Biggie, and just look at old interviews of Diddy and compare him to now, and you will see like once the late 90s and the early 2000s came, he was more aggressive. He was more in your face. Remember, Pac was the one. Pac was a Gemini. He was always in your face, always no nonsense, always talk that shit. Where Diddy, it kind of took him a while. It looked like it took for Biggie and Pac to, be unalive, child, for his side to come out for real. Just really look at that. Because if you look at Diddy's old interviews, very different from the person that you have now. It's like, wow, this man did all this stuff to these people. You would have never thought this, but Pac was the one warning us from day one. Something is up with homie. Something is up with him. Okay, y'all remember when he dragged them on that, he dragged them on that, hit them up. Oh my God. First off, you claim, oh my God. And I was a kid. So I remember saying to my brother, I was a Tupac fan. I love Tupac. But I said to my brother, is Tupac with Bad Boy? And my brother was like, hell no, he ain't with Bad Boy. He would hurt you if you said that out loud to him. He was like, he with Death Row, and cause he talked about Bad Boy so much. He talked about Bad Boy so bad. I thought he was with Bad Boy. So yeah. Okay, so let's get back to this fool. Okay, so it may not show right away how provocative they could be. So there we was. In fact, the longer one knows them, the more one sees that they not only have a talent for stirring up the pot. That means he likes to keep a lot of shit going at the expense of others, but also piercing the thickest armor in their personal contacts. Master at breaching defenses, they usually know exactly where the soft or vulnerable points are. That takes me to Kim Porter and like him and women. I was shocked he put her through all the hell that she went through, and from the research I did, he put her through a lot before he even got with Cassie. So it was a lot, going on in their situation. A lot of DV, we'll say that. Okay, so it says, indeed, once they get rolling, they can be very difficult for anyone, including themselves, to stop. What did I tell y'all? This man does not have any boundaries. He doesn't have a cutoff point. It's by any means necessary. Okay, he's a Scorpio too, and a lot of Scorpios, they have that energy. Recognizing their limitations. Remember, the book told you he's unrealistic. Controlling their energies, becoming more realistic, there's that word, in their goals, and above all, remaining constructive in their outlook is important for them to keep in mind. November 4th people have a fine sense of humor that can at one time be dry and restrained, and at another time infectious or even hilarious. It is a very human and positive attribute that allows them to quickly bridge differences in race, class, or religion. So he can work with any and everybody and connect with them, on, being silly, being humorous. Through a joke and a bit of laughter, they can put people at ease and break the ice in an uncomfortable situation. Now, this human being that I'm about to mention is nothing like Diddy, Mr. Will Smith. I remember Will Smith said that he actually uses that on people to kind of break any type of tension. That's kind of how he got his personality, by watching his father, harm his mother growing up, and he didn't like how that made his mom feel. So, he wanted to be the funny, happy-go-lucky kid around the house, be easy, to deal with. And even now, he had mentioned that he uses humor, to break any tension, or, that way people feel comfortable with him. People of all races, all walks of life. A lot of people use that to break, certain barriers. So it says, on the other side, depression is very alien to the November 4th character. Therefore, those born on this day have a great deal of trouble understanding the negativity of others. The problem is that they sometimes fail to recognize how serious things have gotten in their own situation, and can remain unduly optimistic when prospects are in fact bleak. Once again, reminding you, he's unrealistic. I'm pretty sure there were several things in his life where the writings was written on the wall. Don't do this, don't do that. Make sure this person is with you. Make sure you protect this person. And I'm sure he ignored all the signs, symptoms, and warnings of those situations, because you got to understand he's unrealistic, right? He doesn't know his own limitations. And he doesn't care about others either, right? It says November 4th people are highly magnetic personalities who not only have a talent for persuasion, but are adept at ignoring or dexterously, I don't use that word, child, parrying criticism directed their way. In their mind, sooner or later, they will win others over to their point of view. Yet ultimately, they can misjudge the receptiveness of their audience, especially since their viewpoints can be quite extreme and their presentation provocative and even upsetting. So that means he doesn't really give a damn if he upsets people. It's just, no, this is how I see it. Like a lot of that behavior you seen on Making of the Band and, any of these other shows he done been on and clowned and acted a fool. That part right there, honey. By thus creating a chaotic situation that may undercut their own influence. And that kind of takes me to all the artists he has influenced: Jodeci, Mary J. Blige, Faith Evans, Carl Thomas. He didn't work with a lot of people, but I'm pretty sure that, and they probably respected what he did for them from an external, point of view, like, oh, he was able to make us some money and get us gigs and this, that, and the other. But it's kind of similar to your boss at a job. It's just like, I still don't like that asshole. He is a narcissistic a-hole, and I wouldn't piss on him if he was on fire. Like one of them things. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he helped me get money, but it's like, it's one of them things where it's so important to be likable, to be respectful of people's feelings, to understand people's limitations and take them into consideration, right? Because, yeah, you may make people a lot of money, but if you're not likable, if they don't feel like they can trust you or you have their best interests at heart, it's just like you're burning the candle at both ends, which, what's the point, right? So it says, November 4th people love to be served, but usually return the favor by giving at least as much as they get. In fact, they can be overly giving, and others may take advantage of them or come to expect too much. For some November 4th people, the expectations of others can also become intolerable, heavy after a while, even for the seemingly boundless energy they possess. So it's talking about his expectations of others is way too much. I wonder, is Young Miami still dealing with him? She probably like, child, next. Okay, because he got a lot of situations, honey, going on. It's a lot going on over there. Okay. Particularly, women born on this day must be aware of getting involved with the wrong man. Men born on this day tend to become the indispensable emotionally. So indispensable basically means, kind of making yourself essential. A lot of people encourage you to be like that on your job. That way you don't ever get fired, right? You're crucial. You're necessary. You're vital. You're needed. You're required, right? He makes himself that way in his relationships with women and hooks them probably with the money. Well, I know probably. That's probably how he getting them, child. But that's how he getting them. So... yeah, and it says he's doing that emotionally. I also noticed he doesn't want to get married, or it looked like he does long-term relationships, but I don't know. I think he likes playing the field. And that's kind of suspect with a man because they have a dogmatic mindset. Like, oh, I can run through all these women. Oh, they ain't nothing. They're not going to be that respectful of the women. When, because a lot of men, they don't even know how to properly deal with women, really. I'm not being funny. It's a matter of observation. I have seen men and I'm like, what is wrong with you? Talk to the woman like you got some sense. Be respectful. Be receptive. Okay, come correct. Be honest. Be kind. Don't be brash. Don't be like aggressive, disrespectful. Don't act like it's a music video. Don't be licking your damn lips and don't do all of that. Ugh. So the book also says perhaps too much for some of those close to them, and thus must be aware of fostering a dependency, okay? All right, so let's get to his numbers and planets. Those born on the 4th day of the month are ruled by the number 4 and the planet Uranus. People ruled by the number 4 have their own peculiar way of doing things. Uranus indicates sudden changeability and unpredictable action. Traits that can be magnified in November 4th people. Generally, those born by the number 4 are not overly concerned with money, and November 4th people who focus on ideals are no exception. Those ruled by the number 4 are vulnerable to psychological hurt. Oh, hell, you cause it. But look, you're vulnerable to it. Perhaps when it comes to rejection by their group, which they take very hard, the connection of Uranus with the ruler of Scorpio, Pluto, indicates dynamic sexual magnetism. Okay? Let's read his tarot. The 4th card of the major arcana is the Emperor, who rules over worldly things through wisdom, the primary source of his power. The Emperor is stable and wise. The force of his authority cannot be questioned. The positive associations of this card are strong willpower and steadfast energy. Negative indications include stubbornness, tyranny, and even brutality. His meditation, faith is sometimes more powerful than actions, okay? Okay, you guys, that is all I got. Okay, that's all I got to say, honey, about Sean P. Diddy Combs. Don't forget, guys, to like, comment, and subscribe. I am your girl, brand new, and I will check you guys out in the next video.